It was a quiet Sunday morning when Mr. Scott, the Sunnyside Elementary School janitor, driven by a gnawing feeling and insistent curiosity, found himself wandering the empty halls of the school. However, the silence was broken by footsteps that weren't his own, paired with an occasional echo. Surprisingly, the janitor wasn't alone in doing his weekend rounds, as Nathaniel Scott noticed a young boy and approached him, puzzled by his presence. But before we start our story, smash the like button, make sure to subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so you won't miss any new stories. But when Nathaniel asked what the boy was doing there, his answer drained the blood from his face. Janitor Nathaniel Scott, Nathan for short, had gone to the school for his weekend rounds. Though he had cleaned the majority of Sunnyside Elementary School on Friday, he couldn't help but let his perfectionism take hold of him. He had that gnawing feeling that he had skipped a spot and just had to quickly check it out. Not yet a clue what, or rather who, was in the school. He thought it would be a quick in and out. He believed he would quickly look around the rooms, do a quick sweep or mop if he found anything dirty, and then return home. This is what he believed would happen when he had said goodbye to his girlfriend, with the promise he would get the groceries on his way back. But unbeknownst to him, it would take much longer than anticipated. He had parked his car in the school's parking lot and went to the back door. It was the place where his uniform was, as he certainly wouldn't clean with things like bleach with his usual clothes. He had his own key for occasions like these, as his key smoothly went into the lock, unlocking the school. He wasn't alone. He was certain of that. He quickly zipped up his janitor's suit as he slowly walked through the empty hallways. He could hear the echo of his footsteps, or were they of someone else? Nathan quickly shook his head. He had to find this out fast before his paranoia got the better of him. He stopped dead in his tracks, his ears perking up at any sound. It was then that he heard it again, a soft, high-pitched voice singing a melody. He immediately recognized the tune as he had heard it before, maybe a couple of weeks ago. He had come in early and heard it while cleaning one of the many halls. It was a song he heard coming from the classrooms as the children were singing along with it. However, this time around, it sounded more haunting in how it bounced off the empty halls. He had to round a few corners, but the person singing the song was coming closer as the volume became louder. He had almost started to jog, wanting to find out the mystery of who was singing this song and, more importantly, why they were singing it. He rounded his final corner when he suddenly hit something, or rather, someone. As he rounded the corner, he looked further ahead into the hallway. He hadn't looked down, and he had been stupid not to do so as Nathan collided with a small child. He let out a loud gasp at the impact as he immediately reached down to grab the kid, but before he could, the kid had fallen on the ground. Shit! Nathan cursed as he immediately crouched down to the kid's level. Surprisingly, the young boy wasn't crying as he sat on the floor. "You okay, kid?" Nathan asked, looking the kid up and down to see if he was all right. The boy nodded. "I'm okay," he quipped before standing up. The kid wanted to continue walking without a care in the world before Nathan stopped him. What was this kid doing here on a Sunday? Nathan watched, puzzled as the boy dusted himself off and started walking again. "Hey, wait up! What are you doing here all alone?" Nathan called out, hurrying after the boy. The school was silent except for their footsteps. The boy didn't look back, his pace steady, a determined little figure in the vast echoing halls. Catching up, Nathan tried reasoning. "Look, it's not safe here. You should go home." But the boy was adamant. "I can't leave yet. I'm looking for something." His voice held a mix of determination and innocence. Nathan, torn between concern and curiosity, realized this wasn't going to be simple. The boy darted away, leaving Nathan no choice but to follow. Nathan noticed something odd. The boy wasn't just wandering, he was stopping by lockers, pressing his ear against them as if listening for something. "What are you doing?" Nathan asked, puzzled. The boy ignored him, moving from locker to locker with purpose. Nathan watched, curiosity growing. Why was this kid here on a Sunday, and what was he searching for? Despite the strangeness of the situation, Nathan's concern for the boy's safety outweighed his hesitation. He followed at a distance. "Hey, what's your name? And what exactly are you looking for?" Nathan tried again. The boy hesitated before finally replying, "Lucas." "And where are your parents? Why are you here alone?" Nathan asked, trying to keep his tone light. Lucas shrugged. "I found a door unlocked and came in." Nathan's eyebrows shot up. "An unlocked door? That wasn't right. Security should have been tight. If Lucas got in unnoticed, who else might have? Which door? Nathan pressed. Lucas pointed toward the front. Nathan's concern shifted to alarm. He needed to check, but he didn't want to leave Lucas alone. "We need to get you home. It's not safe here," Nathan insisted. "But I can't leave yet. I'm on a mission. It's really important," Lucas said, urgency in his voice. Something in the boy's tone made Nathan pause. "What mission?" Lucas looked relieved that Nathan was listening. "I can't explain everything, but I have to find something before it's too late." Nathan scanned the dim corridors. If the door had been left open, they might not be alone. "Stick by me," he instructed. Lucas nodded, staying close as they moved cautiously. Nathan kept a protective hand on Lucas's shoulder. As they walked, Lucas suddenly mentioned a name. "Sydney." Nathan frowned. "Who's Sydney?" Lucas hesitated, then admitted, "She's part of the reason I'm here." Nathan's interest deepened. This was more than just a kid exploring the school. They checked classrooms, peering into dark corners. The school felt eerily empty. "Looks like it's just us," Nathan murmured. But Lucas's nervous glances suggested otherwise. Then, in a hushed voice, Lucas confessed, "I overheard Sydney say something scary about the school." Nathan's skepticism faded. "What did she say?" Lucas swallowed hard. "That something bad might happen here." Nathan's concern turned into urgency. If there was any truth to Lucas's fears, they needed to act. Fast. Nathan nodded, taking Lucas's warning seriously. "All right, Lucas, we need to be smart about this. Let's figure out our next steps carefully." Lucas hesitated, then stammered, "Sydney said he'd blow up the school this weekend." Nathan's breath caught. The weight of the revelation made it hard to process. "Where?" he asked, voice tight. Lucas's face was pale. "In his locker." A chill ran down Nathan's spine. If there was even a chance Lucas was right, they had to act fast, but they had no idea which locker was Sydney's or how to open it. "We don't know his locker number," Nathan muttered, scanning the long rows of lockers. Lucas clenched his fists. "We have to do something. We can't just wait." Nathan took a deep breath. "You're right. Let's figure this out." They moved quickly but cautiously. Nathan, thinking ahead, locked the school's main entrance. "If there's a threat, we can't let it spread, or anyone else in," he explained. Lucas nodded, but another worry surfaced. What if Sydney's still here? Nathan tensed at the thought. If the door had been left open, the person responsible might still be lurking. As they crept down the hallway, Lucas suddenly whispered, "I hear something." Nathan hurried to his side. At first there was nothing, then a faint ticking. His stomach twisted. His mind raced. Was this real? A prank? He crouched, pressing his ear against the locker. The ticking was steady. Fear turned to action. Nathan memorized the locker number. "We need to act fast." He yanked out his phone, hands shaking, and dialed 911. "There's a ticking sound coming from a locker at Sunnyside Elementary," he reported, voice tight with urgency. As soon as the call ended, he grabbed Lucas's hand. "We have to get out now." They ran toward the nearest exit, hearts pounding. Outside, they kept running until they were at a safe distance. Nathan paced anxiously, glancing at Lucas. "Where are your parents?" Lucas hesitated before pointing across the street to a small house. "They don't know I left," he admitted. Nathan sighed. He needed to get Lucas home, but his mind was still stuck on what they had just discovered. They crossed the road carefully. When they reached the door, it swung open and Lucas's mother gasped. "Lucas!" she cried, pulling him into a hug. Nathan stepped back, letting them reunite, but he knew this wasn't over. As Lucas's mother tried to usher him inside, he suddenly broke free, dashing back toward the school. "I have to stop Sydney!" he shouted. His mother screamed as screeching tires shattered the calm evening. A police cruiser braked just in time, narrowly avoiding Lucas. Officers jumped out, their faces a mix of concern and confusion. Nathan and Lucas's mother rushed over. "Lucas, you need to let the police handle this," Nathan urged, his voice firm but understanding. Lucas hesitated, torn between his mission and the weight of their concern. Flashing lights and blaring sirens filled the night as SWAT and bomb squad teams arrived. The once quiet school transformed into a scene of urgency. Officers listened intently as Nathan explained everything: Lucas's warning, the ticking locker, and Sydney's supposed threat. Lucas nervously recounted his story. The officers asked precise questions, ensuring no detail was overlooked. Meanwhile, Lucas's parents struggled with mixed emotions: relief that their son was safe, but worry over his reckless actions. Breaking into the school, his father murmured, the reality sinking in. The bomb squad entered, clad in protective gear. Nathan led them inside, unlocking the main entrance and guiding them to the locker he had memorized. The hall was eerily silent as the squad approached the locker. Tension filled the air as they worked cautiously, unlocking it while maintaining a safe distance. Click. The locker swung open, and the ticking sound grew louder. Everyone held their breath. Inside, instead of a bomb, sat a science project, a harmless contraption with an old-fashioned alarm clock. Nathan exhaled sharply, relief mixed with disbelief as the realization hit. There was never a real threat, only a misunderstanding. Sydney and his parents arrived, summoned by the police. When questioned, Sydney explained his project, a homemade experiment for the science fair. In his excitement, he had described it as explosive, not realizing how it might sound to others. The misunderstanding unraveled, turning a night of fear into a teachable moment. Laughter replaced tension. Parents hugged their children. Officers exchanged relieved glances. The community exhaled as the reality of the situation settled in. No danger, just an innocent mistake. Nathan, once just a janitor, was now a hero in the eyes of the community. Applause and gratitude surrounded him, recognizing his quick thinking and bravery. As the night wound down, people reflected on the importance of clear communication and vigilance. What had begun as a terrifying event became a moment of unity, a reminder of the strength found in coming together. For Nathan, Lucas, Sydney, and the entire community, this wasn't an ending, it was a lesson, a new beginning.